Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 21st, 2026 meeting of the Board of Education for Arlington Heights School District 25. We're grateful to all of you for joining us tonight. Before we begin, I will share that our meetings are when the school board conducts its business and are open to the public. Because we are an elected governmental body, we can only take action by majority vote in a public meeting like this one. We welcome the public to listen and observe, and we have community input sections on the agenda if you have questions or comments on the business of the board. With that, I call the regular meeting to order. And Ms. O'Brien, will you please call the roll?
Neerman?
Here.
Tranter?
Here.
Jogi?
Here.
Scapalato?
Here.
Michael?
Here.
Buchberger?
Here.
Cerniglia?
Here.
Thank you, Lana. And this evening, we are going to begin what may be a new tradition. The Pledge of Allegiance tonight is going to be led by the winners of the Battle of the Books from South Middle School. So if you would, audience, please stand if you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, poor Evie. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Oh, wait, we're going to get... Oh, yes.
We reserve the first space on the agenda each month to recognize notable accomplishments and service of District 25 students and staff. So thank you for everyone here tonight for being here despite your busy schedules. And tonight we have a whole number of student accomplishments to recognize, so I'll turn it over to Dr. K.
Thank you very much, President Scapalato. I'm excited to have next to me all of the winners for the Battle of the Books. But before we introduce them individually and give them a gift on behalf of the board, I would like to welcome up the sponsors and the coach. I didn't see her as I walked in, but there you are, Kelly O'Kelly. Please welcome Kelly O'Kelly.
Hi, Miss O'Kelly.
If you want to take it off, you can.
No, it's fine. Thank you. Hi, I'm Kelly O'Kelly. I'm the librarian here at South and the very proud sponsor of Battle of the Books. If you don't know what Battle of the Books is, it's a club we run here at South, also at Thomas Middle School. And these kids join the club in October. They form teams. This year we had 52 students join, 8 teams. They're assigned 10 books to read between October and February, and then the battles begin. So they are trivia battles, and our top 3 teams then go to the district battle against Thomas's top 3 teams. And this year, this team, Team Ultimate, Elmo and Kermit, were the winners. So I would like to recognize these guys for doing a great job. They're very busy. They're involved with lots of things at school, outside of school, but they make time to read and be part of the Battle of the Books, and I'm very proud of them. So we have Anna and Rilla and Katerina and Eleanor and Evie and Colette and Fiona. So this is Team Ultimate, Elmo and Kermit. Kat? Do you want to do it? Anna, do you want to do it? You chant or no?
Oh yeah, chant, guys, we have to do the chant.
Yeah, have the mic. Go ahead.
Ready?
Team
Ultimate!
Team
Ultimate!
Elmo and
Kermit!
Elmo and
Kermit!
I do feel badly, Battle of the Books winners. We didn't get a photo. So I'm glad you're so close. Come on up. Let's get a photo. Thank you, Greg. All right, next on the list for recognitions, we have a couple students from both South and Thomas who were part of the wrestling team that went all the way down to state to compete. So I'm going to welcome up the coaches as they are making their way up here. The two coaches that are here this evening that I can see walking up. Oh, we got all of them. We've got Coach Dan Birdie, we've got Ben Hamilton, and we've got Jay Bingaman, we've got Anthony Greco, and I see one extra that I don't have a name for, so I'm going to wait for it here in my ear. All right, sounds good. Jeff Toll, so grateful to have you guys here. And in just a moment, we will let them introduce the wrestlers themselves, and they'll have a chance to walk up here and get a gift, and we'll take a photo as well. So thank you, coaches, for being here to recognize our student wrestling athletes.
All right. First off, while I have a microphone in my hand, I'm going to take a minute to thank the board for their continued support of the wrestling program, as well as the administration. Deeply appreciate the things that you do for us. I, in particular, want to thank our two community volunteer coaches, Harry McDonough and Jeff Toll, who have been working with the program all year long as volunteers and have really helped us elevate the program to the level that we're at. With all of that support from the community, we were able to bring more than 70 students into the wrestling room, including our Battle of the Books people. And we wrestled in a total of we wrestled in a total of 519 matches, winning 284 of them, 162 of them by pin. We also, for the first time in our program's history, achieved the level of being regional champions. It was our first championship win. It was a very exciting year. We sent 15 students to sectionals, and 2 of them qualified for state. First, Thomas Ehrman, where are you? Get on up here. I'm particularly proud of Thomas because this is, this is an example of when the good guy gets to win. Such a nice person, a good sportsman. I've deeply appreciated the attitude into the room, and I also am particularly excited that he's a 7th grader, so I still have him on my team next year. Additionally, we sent Arky. And Atticus is our very first student to ever podium at state. He took 6th in the state in his weight class. In addition to what he's done for our scoreboard, I am deeply appreciative of the leadership that he brought to the team, basically helping me to instill on the 6th graders that work ethic and that attitude that he brought to the room every day. Coaches, anything to add?
Okay, thanks, Jay. I wanted to also thank the parents for being a part of everything, and the board too for your support with wrestling. Jay had all the stats. I want to talk about just wrestling as a sport for a minute. It's definitely not a sport for everybody, but it's the perfect sport for the right kind of kid. And I think that the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, we have probably 150, 160 kids on both teams. I got to start the program about 9 years ago, so it's been a really fun road. So thank you for giving us that chance. And I just also put this plug out there and to mention that girls wrestling is the #1 growing sport, so we got to start thinking about that too. The girls who are involved, it's an incredible experience. I've got a little short video. Thank you, Ms. Spishak, for putting that together for us. Our guys, but we had the highest placing state placer this year in the district, which is kind of exciting. We sent 3 guys down, so if Lucas Daub, Ryan Pham, and Noah Carvalho could come up too and join us up here for the video.
room where there's big visuals on both sides of the room. So we have a really large one behind you, and then we have a secondary one in front of you. So whatever is more comfortable for you to view this video, please choose the one that
Thank you, and just one last recognition. Lucas Daub, Noah Carvajal, and Ryan Pham. Thanks, guys. It's been an awesome season.
coaches, wrestlers, come on over. We'll get a picture of the board. Thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. Parents, if you want to make your way over for a photo, that'd be great too. Back again. Congratulations, guys. Thank you. Watch your step. We have 3 more recognitions tonight. We have 2 basketball teams and then reflections. So let's start with our 7th grade girls basketball. I'd like to welcome. I'm just checking to see if you guys are listening. It's with a ball, but we don't want this one to hit the floor as often unless it's on the other team's side. Volleyball, 7th grade girls volleyball from Thomas. Let me introduce Coach Soraya Peshik. Welcome, glad you're here. And did you know it's volleyball, not basketball? Yeah, that's all on me, Soraya. Here you go. Congratulations and thanks for being here.
I'd like to take a moment to thank the board and to thank all of the parent support, because I could not have done state without you guys. But I want to take a moment to congratulate my girls. They did an incredible job and are such an amazing group of athletes. You accomplished a lot this season. You had a season record of 22-2. You placed first at Coal City and second at the Sweetheart Tournament. And you finished second in state. So that is no small feat. You finished highest ever in the volleyball program at state level. So we're very, very proud of you. Your determination, your commitment, your flexibility, playing positions that you have not played before in literally the 11th hour. You pulled it together, and we also beat Lake Zurich North. That was one tough regional game, but the confidence that you showed and the level of determination is what made our team just so memorable this year. Your energy is commendable, so I'm very, very proud of you, and we're all very, very proud of you. I'd like to take a moment to invite them up. Okay. I'm not sure if Samantha's here, so Sam Laval, when I call your names, girls, if you can come up, Lila Kellens, Bridget, Stella, Addie, Katie, Gabby, Alexandra, Suhani, Leighton, Shravya, Ali, Alyssa, and Katie. Great job, girls.
Watch your step. Yes. Coach, you are definitely in this photo. We want to make sure we can see you. You're going to send that to everyone? Congratulations, girls. Thank you. Congrats. Sticking with the same theme of Thomas Middle School and 8th grade girls volleyball, please welcome Coach Todd Slawinski.
Hello, everyone. So, you're not supposed to make fun of your coach. It's not nice. So, I just want to say how amazing this team is and how much of an honor it has been to coach them over the last, for a lot of them, last 2 years. For most of them, this is their second trip to state. And it's just been a memorable run the last 2 years. And this last season was just incredible. We had some amazing games and victories. And, you know, we went to state. It was really happy. We had high expectations for ourselves. And it wasn't the outcome we wanted. We lost our first game. But with that said, I'm just so proud of this team and the memories that you guys made and how hard you worked. And I just want you to remember that, you know, it's not necessarily like the final outcome that is what makes you what you are. It's the memories along the way. It's the hard work you put in. It's everything that we shared together as a group, and I'm just so proud of you, and I wish you all the best of luck in the future. So, I will call you guys up and recognize you. I'll just go in order. Karina, Kavi, Amelia, Lexi, Mathea, Kaya, Alexa, Daniela, McKenna, Krishna, and Marlo. Oh, we got a back row, and Finley in the back row, sneaking in there. Short video, yes, it's just a short.
All right, our final recognition this evening is for our students who participated in the Reflections. And I know the chairperson or chair people of Reflections love the microphone. They can't wait for this time of year to get here and recognize all of the students. So I'm going to have them come on over. President Shelley Daly wants to make sure that all of the students are recognized. We will give everyone a gift on behalf of the board, and it looks like the PTA is also providing you with a gift. I can hear some instructions being given, so just bear with me just a moment to see how we're going to do this. We're going to add some more student support personnel. Hello, Shelley. How are you? I'm doing great. Would you like the microphone this year?
I would.
All right. Please welcome Shelley Daly. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Shelley Daly. I am a parent volunteer with the PTA, and the last couple years I've actually got involved with the Arlington Heights Council PTA, which has been a joy. The area that I've been helping with is a program called Reflections, and I just wanted to read to all of you what Reflections is, because any student in District 25 is eligible to participate in this program. And I always tell everyone it's kind of like the best kept secret, but it shouldn't be a secret because it's such an amazing program that every child from kindergarten through 8th grade can participate in. So Reflections, it is a nationwide arts contest. It encourages students to explore their creativity and share their unique voice through the arts. Every year, the Arlington Heights PTA sponsors this. So like I said, all the schools in District 25 can participate in it. There are 6 different categories that the students can choose to participate in. They are literature, musical composition, photography, visual arts, dance choreography, or film and video production. And the really cool thing about the program is all of the pieces, they go to different levels to get judged. So they first start at their school, then it goes to the Arlington Heights Council. If it moves on from there, it would go to regionals, which all 56 students that entered the program, they all made their entries to regionals, which is amazing. And if from regionals, it gets judged at that level. And out of our 56, which there's hundreds of entries throughout our region that get judged, out of our 56, 20 students were selected, and they're currently at state right now. So they're all being judged at the state level. We don't know where it's at, but it's really exciting for those 20 students. And then I just wanted to also mention that there's a theme every year. The theme this year was called I Belong. And so you kind of do whatever project you're going to select based on that theme, and you pick a title and you make a little artist statement that ties into that theme. Next year's theme, I'm so excited to tell everybody, it's called What My Culture Means to Me. So I know a lot of the schools do multicultural fairs. I think it'd be a great tie-in to maybe put some of the reflection projects at those multicultural fairs, but it's a great theme. So everyone here and anybody that you know can start thinking about that theme, and we can start selecting, accepting entries as soon as tomorrow if you wanted to join. Okay, with that being said, we do have a couple things to pass out to our students. Everyone's going to be receiving a certificate and a medal. And then it looks like the district has a little swag bag too for everybody, which is awesome. I'm going to hand the microphone over to the Arlington Heights Council PTA President, Erin Lakomsky. And then to my left is Karen Raddick. She is one of the reflection chairs at Westgate Elementary. And I just want to give a shout out to all the reflection chairs, because without you, there wouldn't be a program at each school. So thank you so much for your time, and I will hand the mic over to Erin.
Okay, let's kick this off with Dryden. From Dryden, we have Hannah Bodie. If you are here, please come up. Mila Johnson. Hazel McQuillan. And Maddie Bodie. We're going to pause and take a photo with each school. So this will be our first photo. Okay, thank you everyone from Dryden. From South Middle School, we have Addison Daly. And this will be our second photo. Thank you, Addison from South. Our next school will be from Olive Mary Stitt. We have Joey Berglund, Ellie Berglund, Thomas Lee, James Lee, and Madison Lee. And we will get them their certificates. Okay, next up is Westgate PTA. I bet there's a few of them around here. Emma Gavin. Layla Kaufman. Christian Dietzick. Cully Daly. Alexandra Dietzick. Ellie Martin. Henry Halliday. Savannah Halliday. Nathan Elkin. Ender Elkin. Gannon Daly. Aiden Walker. Tyler Walker. Aria Makumaraji. And Kasha Zapart. Scarlett Zapart. This will be our Westgate photo. Okay, thank you. Our last batch is from Patton. Luke Fontana. We started with Luke Fontana. Amelia McCartney. Aiden Kazaki. Mabel Cooper. Caitlin Peterson. Sarah McCarty. Anaya Parikh. Hannah Murray. Guinevere Saniza. Quinn Sudol. Lauren Hager. Emery Messmer. Grayson Zurek. Eleanor Steinbeck. Olivia Wojtasik. Elle Boylan. Claire Schneider. Natalie Sanchez. Emery Hendrickson. Addie Hendrickson. Ashvi Parikh. Walter Dalton. Gianna LaMonica. Claire Naughton. Madeline Unstandig. and Olivia Dames. This will be our final photo for reflections. Thank you, everyone. If you could pause your leaving one moment so all the parents can have an obstructed view, that'd be great. Thank you.
Kick butt. Our volleyball team is showing us what to do at this time. It is the best time to say goodnight. If you'd like to stay for the rest of the meeting, feel free to stick around. But this is the best time to graciously exit. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Take care, everyone. Korba, dude, I was hoping you'd be here. It's so good to see you. Well, it took us some time. Hey, we got you. How are you? I'm doing well. You look great. I love the beard. I'm loving it too.
I sent a picture. I said, look who's superintendent. We were all talking about the DC trip.
I love it.
That was dude. I love that. We'll catch up.
I would love to.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Take care. Thank you, Lana.
I don't know what to do with this. Oh, are we keeping it here for? Okay, I'm later on when it's time for the strategic plan. We'll bring the rest of the chairs. Sure. Is that okay? We just do one now.
Okay. Well, the student recognitions are a tough act to follow, but we'll continue on with the board organization. At the March board meeting, the board determined that it will reorganize during this regular meeting. So we'll begin that now, and this is where we appoint officers and we will approve our meeting schedule for the next year. The first step is to appoint a president pro tem to start the process. And to begin, I move to appoint Kevin Michael to serve as president pro tem. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, the nominations are closed, and Kevin Michael will serve as our president pro tem.
Thank you. Next, we will appoint a secretary pro tem. Are there any nominations?
Mr. President?
Yes, Greg?
I move to appoint Melissa Bookberger to serve as secretary pro tem.
Are there any other nominations? All right, there are no additional nominations, and nominations are closed, and Melissa Buchberger will serve as Secretary Pro Tem. We will now elect the officers to the board, including President, Vice President, and Secretary. Additionally, we will appoint a recording secretary. Following the guidelines of the Illinois Association of School Boards, if only one member is nominated for President, the President Pro Tem may cast a unanimous ballot and declare that candidate elected. If two or more members are nominated for the office of President, a roll call voice vote is necessary. The member receiving a majority of the votes cast is elected. Once elected, the board president presides over the meeting as the board proceeds to elect its vice president and secretary using the same nomination and voting process that the board used to elect the president. Are there any nominations for office of president?
Mr. President.
Yes, Liz.
I move to appoint Greg Scapalato as president for a one-year term commencing today, April 21st, 2026.
Are there any more nominations? Thank you, Liz. If there are no additional nominations, nominations are closed. A unanimous ballot is cast, and Greg Scapalato will serve as president of the Board of Education. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, everyone. We will now need to appoint a vice president. Are there any nominations for the office of vice president?
Mr. President,
Yes,
I
Alicia.
wholeheartedly move to appoint Kevin Michael as Vice President for a one-year term commencing today, April 21st, 2026.
Thank you, Anisha. Are there any other nominations? All right, seeing none, nominations are closed and a unanimous ballot is cast, and Kevin Michael will serve as Vice President of the Board of Education for a one-year term commencing today. Congratulations, Kevin. Next, the board will appoint a secretary. May I have nominations for the office of secretary, please?
Mr. President.
Yes, Kevin.
I nominate, I've lost my place in the, I nominate Liz Neerman to serve a one-year term as Secretary of the Board of Education.
Thank you, Kevin. Are there any other nominations? Since there are no additional nominations, nominations are closed. A unanimous ballot is cast, and Liz Neerman will serve as Secretary of the Board of Education for a one-year term commencing today. Congratulations, Liz. Finally, the board will appoint a recording secretary. This is the role that Ms. Lana O'Brien has typically fulfilled for the board. Are there any nominations for the office of recording secretary?
Yes. I move to appoint Lana O'Brien as Recording Secretary for a one-year term commencing today, April 21st, 2026.
Thank you, Anisha. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed. A unanimous ballot is cast, and Lana O'Brien will serve as Recording Secretary of the Board of Education for a one-year term commencing today.
One-year term.
That's right.
One-year term. That's written
All
in
right.
stone. It's in the minutes, one-year term.
So before we continue to the next agenda item, I'd like to take a moment to express the board's gratitude to Dr. Jogi for her dedication and exemplary service as one of our officers over the last 5 years. Anisha, the impact of your leadership during the time you've held officer positions will be a challenge for me to quantify in these brief comments. But let me start by saying your support, guidance, and encouragement as an officer on our board has been instrumental in setting us on the positive trajectory we now enjoy. Just a few highlights would include our first ever IASB Governance Award, collectively developing and establishing meaningful board protocols, and repeated presentations at the Triple I Conference, sharing the successes of our district and the Team of 8. Your calm, confident leadership has always been firmly grounded in the foundational principles of effective governance, bringing them to life in an actionable and affirmative way that benefits our board, our administration, and most importantly, our students. We know leadership is not dependent on a title, and we know that your impact and influence will continue, and we're grateful for the time and energy and talent you shared as board secretary, vice president, and president. Thank you, Anisha.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. You definitely know how to make a board member cry. Mr. President, may I take a brief moment to try and share a few remarks? So let me take a drink. So as we complete our board reorganization, I want to take a moment to share my sincere gratitude. Over the years, it's been an absolute honor to serve in the roles of board president, vice president, and secretary, and I'm so excited for all the folks who are going to be taking these wonderful spots. And each role has deepened my respect for this work and for the responsibility we carry on behalf of our students and community. So I want to congratulate today Greg and Kevin and Liz on serving in their officer roles. I have full confidence, and I'm so excited for each of you and in the strength of this entire board. We are fortunate to have thoughtful, committed leaders around this table, and I know that our work will continue to move forward with purpose and care. So if I cry, it's Greg's fault today for starting me off. I've always believed that strong governance includes intentional leadership development and thoughtful succession. The strength of this board has, and creating space for others to lead is part of how we ensure the long-term health of our board and the continued success of this district. Please know that I remain fully committed, and I'll keep doing the hard work, so even when I'm relaxing in another spot on this board, on this seat here. The strength of this board has always come from how we support one another in service of something greater than ourselves, namely our over 5,000 students, our 800 staff members, and the District 25 families and community as a whole. I'm also deeply grateful for the steady partnership of our superintendent, Dr. Brian Kay, and before him, Dr. Lori Bine, and to our board secretary, Ms. Lana O'Brien, and to Ms. Debbie Williams before her, and the entire Dunton team, who's always working so hard and staying up here so late with all of us. Their leadership behind and in front of the scenes has consistently positioned us for success and has meant a great deal to me personally. And thank you for the trust and partnership. It continues to be a privilege and a joy to serve alongside my board colleagues, present and past, and I look forward to the work ahead. Thank you, Mr. President. It's a miracle that I got through that.
Thank you, Dr. Jorge. The next step in our board organization is to set the meeting dates and times for next year's board meetings. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve the school board meeting dates, times, and locations for the 2026-2027 as presented.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Lana, if you could please call the vote.
Tranter?
Yes.
Jogi?
Yes.
Scapalato?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Buchberger?
Yes.
Cerniglia?
Yes.
Neerman?
Yes.
Thank you, Lana. The motion carries 7-0. That completes the board organization portion of tonight's agenda. We'll now resume the agenda items for a regular business meeting, which brings us to communications from district partners. And looks like Erin is with us tonight. Welcome, Erin, for the report from the PTA.
Hello there. Hello. So welcome to April, and this week is actually National PTA Volunteer Appreciation Week, so this is perfect timing. Thank you earlier for recognizing the students who participated in the National PTA Reflections Program, and Shelley Daly is one of our volunteers who is a standout leader in our group and has been doing volunteering with Reflections for many years, and I believe she intends to continue, I hope. It's always a special way to wrap up the Reflections projects with their families. As far as our local units, which there are 9, they're readying themselves for meticulously planned staff appreciation weeks, field days full of lots of fun and sun, and many end-of-the-year celebrations and rites of passage for our 5th graders or 8th graders. Units have also set forth their leadership slates for the coming school year, and they're set to vote on them at the May meetings. I want to note the commitment of our Arlington Heights PTA volunteers who carry on these traditions for many years at each school and for each student. Truly, without them, it wouldn't happen. The Arlington Heights Council of PTAs also hosted another round of 5th grade mixers this month. Our volunteers served a whopping 342 incoming 6th grade students through these events. As a reminder, this is a new committee this year for our council. There are reps from each elementary school on the planning committee. They help with execution of the events, and plus many, many parents who assist at each event. We even bought them bright yellow vests, and they gladly wear them. These events simply could not exist without these amazing volunteers who have stepped up a local program into a council program. The next event will be in August near the start of school. Also, the Arlington Heights Council of PTAs has announced its own leadership slate for the next year. The council has a strong membership partnering with the district for 95 years, because 95 years ago is when the very first PTA chapter was formed in Arlington Heights. So we are celebrating our 95 years this year. I think that's pretty amazing. So being a board member, as you all know, is demanding work, and I'd like to proudly announce the nominations for next school year. For president, the nomination is Suchi Soni from Windsor. President-elect, Mary Cape from Dryden. Treasurer, Evan Corcofigas from South. And Secretary, Brianna Haggerty from Windsor. That's all for me. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Erin. Next is ABC 25. Dr. K, do you know if we have a report tonight? I don't see.
I checked my email about noon today. I did not have a report from ABC 25, so no, I do not have a report.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. K. And so that brings us to the ATA report. Welcome, Allison Bird, for the long walk-up.
Thanks for having me. Am I on? No? Yes? Great. Thanks for having me. I'm going to report some news from the schools. Always exciting. For Multicultural, there we go. For Multicultural Week at Windsor, the kids did Ulama, an ancient ball game, a Mexican, Aztec, Mayan ancient ball game, La Gori, a game from India, the Irish jig from Ireland, and Taekwondo from South Korea, and many dances from around the world, and not limited to dances from Africa and Romania. The kids really enjoyed using the balls that Windsor's PTA bought for the school, and many classes played that game every day. They played the Ulama game every day that they had PE. The kids really loved it, and there are some pictures of our students having fun with that. Last Friday, staff at South were encouraged to wear their South Prism shirts in honor of the Day of Silence. The Day of Silence is a nationally recognized day of action where LGBTQ+ students and allies all around the country protest the harmful effects of harassment and discrimination of LGBTQ+ people in schools. Rather than supporting in silence, staff members wore their South Prism shirts in support of our LGBTQ+ students and allies. These are some pictures of some of the staff who submitted photos, and they were entered into a raffle to win gift cards to local businesses who signed the Glenn's Friends Arlington Heights Pride Pledge to support our LGBTQ+ community. And there's some pictures of our South staff members wearing their shirts, which is awesome. No slide for this next one. Special Olympics announcement really quickly. Tomorrow, Wednesday, April 22nd from 4 to 5 at Windsor, they're going to have a mini competition, like a preview for the Special Olympics. Families and staff are invited to come watch. Friday, April 24th. Oh no, that's for us only. We're wearing our shirts. If you have an all-star shirt, you should wear it on Friday the 24th. And then Saturday, April 25th, please, if you can, come out to the regional competition at Hoffman Estates High School. Our athletes will be competing between 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. So if you can make it, they would love all the support they can get. Fifth grade Windsor students, one of our students right here is the designer. That is her design for the upcoming yearbook. Her design was selected for the yearbook coming out in just a few short weeks. Also, fifth graders, some pictures of students using their knowledge of the Constitution and Bill of Rights while creating posters to advertise their own country with its own rights and laws. And finally, a former Wildcat student and current Prospect Career Academy student, Julia Ulegi, is working with students. She designed a lesson, and she's working with students in Miss Pinsky's fifth grade classroom, which is awesome. Some pictures from Greenbrier. The fifth grade students at Greenbrier were assigned a pet from the local animal shelter from the Buddy Foundation to make a portrait with the help of their art teacher, Katie Brower. Students made portraits in order to help them to get adopted through the website. Students got to pick their background and their mediums, and those are some pictures of their animals, which I think is pretty cool. The Arlington Heights Memorial Library came to Windsor School to visit several classrooms. Actually, they're not done visiting, but they've already been to a few, and these are some pictures of one of the classrooms and some students playing Uno. The Olive Mary Stitt fourth grade team participated in a Feed My Starving Children event, and here are some pictures from that. I can't read it from here, sorry. I don't have glasses. It says on March 13th, 70 volunteers, including Olive Mary Stitt, fourth grade students, families, and staff joined forces for a service event at Feed My Starving Children. The energy was high as the team worked together to pack an incredible 106 boxes, totaling over 22,000 meals. This achievement is a testament to the impact dedicated community can make when working toward a shared goal. We're proud of our students and their hard work, teamwork, and commitment to helping others. And here's some other pictures of those students hard at work. It's like a challenge when I can't read it. I will see it without glasses. These are some Windsor students playing ukuleles in music class. LMC, these are the spring updates from the LMCs around the district. So at Ivy Hill, the fifth graders had their very own version of March Madness. They were learning history of basketball, building their own brackets, and coding their own winning baskets using the Dash robots in LMC. At Greenbrier, the first grade changed plans for the day with first graders since it was Artemis II astronauts were heading to the far side of the moon. The first graders were fascinated, as we all were. Greenbrier third, fourth, and fifth grade is using Canva. They're learning how to write summer goals, research a national park, and create book trailers for the D25 book trailer contest using Canva. Thomas LMC, they're doing TED Talks, Egyptian breakouts, and March Madness. The Patton LMC is doing a breakout challenge, The Mystery of 10,000 Feet, and there are some students busy in action. At Windsor, first graders had an author visit from a Caldecott winner, Matthew Cordell, and they created, I can't see it, they created, scratch art after reading the book Fireworks. Olive Middle School second grade did an app smash. It says that they loved reading the true story of Claude and the White Alligator, a Monarch winning book, and they created digital drawings of alligators. Fourth grade students are learning about renewable energy databases. They worked on teams to create or to research renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and geothermal energy, and they presented their energy projects. Okay, I asked for some pictures from people, so I have to shout out to Casey Whitaker, who's got the best. Here we go, ready? News from Patton. Our kindergartners were absolutely farm-tastic. Were absolutely farm-tastic time on April 9th as they performed bingo for Patton staff, students, and their families. The show was moveless, and it was utterly amazing to see everyone having such a great time. Kindergartners loved being on the farm, showing their audiences that sharing is caring with the farmer, all the farm animals, and of course, a bingo. Because who else would write a little blurb like that besides my friend Casey? And here is our fourth graders. Patton's fourth graders took us on a night out to the movies with an Oscar-winning performance on Thursday, April 16th. Students performed hits from films such as The Wiz, Annie, The Greatest Showman, The Pirates of the Caribbean, and more. They embraced the bright lights of the Patton stage with gusto and delivered a really REEL award-winning performance that whisked audiences from the heights of Arlington Heights to the hills of Hollywood. And there they are. Very cool. Second graders at Windsor School researched famous people and wrote biographies and then presented their information as their famous person for an awesome Wax Museum event. And here's just some pictures of our kids all dressed up as their famous person. Our fourth graders went to see it. It was super fun. Okay, fourth graders are learning about sound waves using cup phones. There they are. And here are some friends at Windsor, reading with friends, having fun with tattoos, and rocking and repping their socks and shirts for World Down Syndrome Day for 3 of their homies with the extra chromie. So there are some friends from Windsor. So thank you, as always, for allowing me to share some of the things going on around the district. Have a great night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Now is the time on our agenda we set aside for community input. If a member of the public wishes to address any item on tonight's agenda, we ask that you please complete one of the blue forms provided on the table by the door and hand the card to Lana O'Brien. Please note on your card if you wish to speak now at the first community input opportunity, or if you wish to speak later should we have a second community input opportunity. No blue slips this evening. So we are going to continue on to our Dr. K, step away. If it's okay with the board, we're going to change the order a little bit, and we're going to go to consent agenda first. So with the consent agenda, this is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President.
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve those items on the consent agenda as follows. A, personnel report and addendum to the personnel report. B, treasurer's report. C, invoices. D, fixed asset disposal report. E, regular and closed session meeting minutes of March 10th, 2026.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Lana, if you could please call the vote.
Jogi?
Yes.
Scapalato?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Buchberger?
Yes.
Cerniglia?
Yes.
Neerman? Tranter?
Yes.
Thank you, Lana. The motion carries 7-0. And Dr. K?
I'll pause temporarily. Give Kendra a chance to come up with the approval of the consent agenda. I am very excited to recognize 2 individuals who have now been approved as assistant principals. Kendra was here to recognize 1 in person and possibly a second online. I can see tech working to see if that other AP is available. So they're going to keep working on that. But we will recognize the one who is here in person. So I appreciate you coming tonight. And Kendra Perry, you get to do the honors.
So I'm super excited to invite Kyle up. Kyle and Lori, if you want to come up. Kyle Mangarelli is our new associate principal at Thomas. Lori's going to tell you a little bit more about Kyle.
Excellent. All right. Congratulations. So this is super special for us because Kyle is actually one of our own. He grew up in the Arlington Heights area and graduated from Thomas Middle School. So we are just absolutely thrilled. Kyle and his family actually live in the Arlington Heights area, and his kids will go to our schools as well. So we're just so glad to have you coming back home. Kyle comes to us with 13 years of experience at the middle school level. He has served as a physical education teacher, and for the last 5 years, he has been a middle school counselor. What an amazing role. Kyle went through a very rigorous 4-step interview, each different committee, 4 different committees process, over 20 people, including 7 students, who I think asked the hardest questions of all. We had 2 exec board members from our PTA. We had 5 members of our building leadership team. Kendra and Brian joined us as well. And we had a member of our, a teacher assistant who all joined us in the different steps of the interview process. And what we all discovered was that Kyle is really great at forming relationships. He is excellent in his knowledge of social emotional learning of children. His references, including none other than his former colleague, Mr. Prorock in the back, talked about how Kyle and Steve worked together for many years. And all of his references just talked about how well Kyle does working with students, connecting teachers to families, connecting community resources to the school. And we are just beyond excited to bring Kyle back to Thomas and have him serve as our next associate principal. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love to. Can everyone hear me? Is it okay if I don't use the mic? Honestly, this is a dream come true. For the last 13 years, I've been working at a middle school, and I just love being a part of the schools, and I've always had the dream of coming back here. So to be here, especially at this board presentation today with all the community members, just to see the different videos and different recognitions, so excited, so much fun. I'm really looking forward to supporting the teachers, the students, and the families that call Thomas home. So thank you. Thanks again. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and next, boy, our tech team, I'm going to owe them a big favor after this. They have pulled off a feat in the last few hours of getting our next candidate all the way zoomed in from Hawaii. I'd like to introduce to you Nikki Nicole Martin.
Hi, everyone.
Nikki will be our next assistant principal at Olive Mary Stitt, which is a position that's close to my heart because I handed it over to Erin 15 years ago, and now she's bringing on Nikki. So I'll let Erin introduce Nikki.
Thank you. Hi, Nikki. Can you hear us? Yep. Okay. Long delay. So we are super excited to welcome Nikki Martin to Olive. She also is a former South student that we found out when we were interviewing. Nikki started her career as a second grade teacher. She moved into the role of an interventionist, then moved into the role of an instructional coach. And for the last couple of years, she has been an assistant principal in Maui. And I think that she has been at a school with over 830 kids. So she will come to Olive and be like, oh, there's only 630. So we're really excited to have her. She'll be moving here over the summer. I'll just share a little bit about her interview process. Figuring out that 5-hour time difference was interesting. While we were finishing our day at 3:30 and looking to interview her, she was just waking up and would jump online at 6 a.m. For her second interview, we interviewed her when she was on vacation in Japan, so that was even harder. I think that was maybe 4 or 5 in the morning for her, but she jumped on with a smile each time we saw her, and we just think she's going to be a great fit. So welcome, Nikki. Thank you, everyone. I'm so excited.
I don't know if we can hear you, Nikki. If you talk, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Sure, if you can hear me.
It's working great. Yes, go for it.
Awesome. I just want to say how excited I am for this opportunity, and thank you all so much. I'm so excited to return back to Chicagoland and to return to my roots and to be part of District 25. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nikki.
Bye, Nikki.
Thank you, Dr. Kay and Kendra. We'll now move to our board communications. To begin, I will ask my colleagues if they have any updates since we last met.
Mr. President?
Yes, Kevin.
On Sunday, I had the pleasure of attending our Arlington Heights Memorial Library's 100th birthday celebration. Mike Driscoll, the executive director of the library, gave a great speech to open the event, talking about what the library and the community would have looked like 100 years ago. Mayor Tenalia delivered a great proclamation speech for the library. Many village trustees, library trustees, and board members in the community were in attendance. They had live music, they had food, they had a huge display showing photos over the past 100 years of the library and its different iterations. It was really just a fun and fascinating event, and I know that the Arlington Heights Memorial Library is not only a huge hub for learning and community in Arlington Heights, but it's also a very important partner with District 25, and we appreciate that partnership and hope it continues another 100 years and beyond.
Thank you, Kevin. Other updates?
Mr. President?
Yes, Deb.
It's been a very busy last month, but there were just two highlights that I'd love to share with the community. I had an opportunity, along with fellow board member Melissa and her amazing son, to attend the City of Support Children in Therapy and You fundraiser event. It was Author Visit Craft Day, but really want to remind the community this nonprofit organization continues to impress me and blow my mind with their support of local children in therapy, the Generosity Toy Store, which has an endless supply of gently used toys and books, countless items that parents, children, and even teachers in our schools have found very useful. So just shout out for that. And then a special thank you to Patton for filling my heart, asking me if I was available to volunteer for their first annual STEAM Day, and it made my day. I was able to take around one of the third grade classes and witness how mind-blowing and fun this day was, where kindergarten through fifth grade all participated in traveling around the classes and learning everything from science, technology, engineering, art, and math activities that were in a joyful, creative, artistic way. Everything from using a supply box to build a house for the three little pigs that the big bad wolf could not blow down, or playing with Legos and building a maze, or picking a card and building a Lego animal and your friends are trying to guess what it is artistically. Just many, many creative games that the teachers took the time to put together and run so the students could learn kind of outside of curriculum, but in a fun and engaging way. Again, reminding me how fabulous our staff is.
Great. Thank you, Deb.
Mr. President?
Yes, Melissa.
I had the honor of attending the second grade chorus performance at Windsor, and it's always fun to see our students perform. And it really had me thinking about our last board meeting when we had the wonderful presentation from our students, and they, told us how important having opportunities to perform is to them and to building their confidence and their social skills. And you could just really see that on display because every single second grader at Windsor was on stage giving it their all. And so I just wanted to express gratitude to the staff there for giving all of them that opportunity, and to Ms. Zeman. It was lots of fun. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Melissa.
Mr. President?
Yeah, Anisha.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to wish a happy one-year anniversary to our board colleagues, Deb and Melissa. It just seemed like yesterday when we swore you in, so congratulations on your 1 year. And in other news, it was great to be at the State of the Village report with the mayor, and thank you to Mayor Jim Tenalia, village trustees, and the staff for hosting the State of the Village address. It was really informative for Liz and I and board members to attend with Dr. Kay and Adam Harris. And listening to the mayor's address really made me realize that we certainly live in a city of good neighbors with lots of great initiatives. And of course, our schools were mentioned, which made us all very, really happy to hear how highly regarded District 25 schools are and what a big part of the community we are as well. So that was really exciting. On a different note, the weather's nice outside, so our track runners, it's been great to see our track runners out at South Middle School and Thomas, and the collaboration between those two schools and sharing the field and cheering each other on. So, and I hear that South students are already breaking records, so I know that we'll be recognizing them here soon as well at some point. And then it was great to see Science Olympiad students go off to state, and I'm excited to kind of hear about what they, they went off to University of Illinois Champaign. So it's great to see all these different activities and extracurricular activities that our students participate in, whether it be wrestling, like the coach said, for some kids it's wrestling, for some kids it's Science Olympiad, for others it's Battle of the Book. So it's great to see so many extracurricular activities for different kids, giving them that sense of belonging that PTA Reflections was all about this year. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Anisha. Any other? Okay. So that brings us to our legislative report. And Kevin?
Thank you, Mr. President. On Friday, April 10th, I virtually attended the monthly EdRed meeting. I was not able to stay online for the entirety of the presentation, but thankfully, EdRed is kind enough to record and post those videos, so I was able to catch up later on. So they invited guest speakers, Illinois Representatives Daniel Didek and Laura Favor-Diaz were both in attendance. The first question that both representatives were asked was what, in their opinion, is the biggest topic of concern for school districts in terms of legislation in the state right now. Representative Favor-Diaz said that her biggest topic of concern is the underfunding of schools at a federal level. And Representative Didek mentioned concerns about BEARS legislation, which again, if we've talked in the past, will not directly impact District 25, depending on what happens in the coming weeks, but it still could have a little bit of a ripple effect. He said the development of artificial intelligence, and he mentioned that he's on the House working group for AI, and another concern of his was FOIA abuse, which we've also discussed at recent meetings. Arabed, who was hosting the meeting, asked them about what are some budget priorities they're looking at, and of course they both mentioned the importance of continuing with evidence-based funding, acknowledging that although it is, excuse me, although it is at record levels of dollars being spent in the state of Illinois, it's still well below what's needed to actually meet the requirements of those mandated categoricals. But they also are aware that it's not something that they have complete control over, but they are hearing the voices of everybody who continues to advocate, so I hope that members of our board will continue to do that. There were questions also about the two-tiered pension system, which again has been a very common topic of concern for several years. Representative Favor-Diaz mentioned that she does see it continuing to evolve in a conversation in Springfield, but she also believes that the only fix that Governor Pritzker is currently interested in is the addressing safe harbor issues to be in compliance with federal law, not necessarily eliminating the two-tiered system as it is, but that the representative shared that she does expect the debate to continue because there is such strong advocacy going on across the state. MCAT funding was a big topic of conversation at the meeting. A lot of members of EdRed have been engaging their legislators, and one of the things they highlighted was that to truly be fully funded by fiscal year, whoops, I lost my place in my notes, sorry, fiscal year 2027, the funding would actually need to be $761 million statewide, which we are far short of, obviously. They also mentioned a couple other, as they refer to them, hot bills. One of them, again, this is one that we've been discussing as a board recently, House Bill 4416, which is the unemployment insurance for ESPs. That one is still a bill of concern. I know that we've had a lot of dialogue in the district and on our board about the food reform student health bill, 5507, that one came up as well. And then the notice to remedy Senate Bill 2914. So those all were very much on the radars of both the representatives who were guests, but also the members of the EdRed board. Couple updates on the unemployment insurance bill. They're continuing to encourage board members, administrators, anyone with concerns about the impact, the financial impact on schools, to continue to contact your legislators if you haven't already done so. They are estimating the costs would at a state level for all of the districts in the state would be around $452 million if that law went into effect. So they want to encourage continued advocacy. I'm going to skip a couple of these because they don't impact elementary. The other one that came up was the Senate Bill 2914 that I mentioned a moment ago, notice to remedy. There's been a lot of negotiating back and forth between members of EdRed and people involved in sponsoring the bill. Some things that unions have been discussing is wanting third-party hearing officers to hear grievable situations and having notices removed from their personnel files 4 days after the date of an issuance. And a lot of school officials have shared that there would be a lot of additional hurdles and legal fees and problems with some of the proposals, so it continues to be something that's been debated back and forth. Things that are moving forward, so EdRed successes, interfund transfers, House Bill 4375, that would allow districts to move certain funds from one area of the budget to another, did pass out of the House. It is moving on to the Senate. And the House Bill 4535, which would allow schools to use, to implement e-learning on election days, which we've already done recently. That also passed out of the House and is moving on to the Senate as well. And then just a couple other quick things for upcoming events. The June member meeting is Friday, June 5th. It will be at 1:30 p.m., hosted by Maine 207. And then the EdRed and Lake ROE Mini Summit is coming up, and I believe registration has already started for that. So that's open to everybody here at the table. If they're interested in attending, that is Thursday, June 11th at 8 a.m. at the Lake ROE campus. And that's what I have. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. We'll move on to the IASB and COSBA report. And Anisha.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll kind of tack on to EdRed a little bit because I may need my board members in the crowd a little bit for some encouragement. So I've been invited to speak at the EdRed Mini Summit to facilitate a session based on kind of my doctoral research and my work on cultivating high-performing leaders, teams, and boards. So June 11th, 8th to noon, I will be looking out into the crowd for some, I'll pay you for clapping at my jokes. And I'm truly excited to share examples from our own style of performing board and how we've worked really hard and are so committed to be a high-performing board. So that's June 11th, 8 to noon. Put in your calendars. And as far as IASB, COSBA, for many of you, you already know this, that Lana does a lot of press plus work for us behind the scenes. There's a lot of work that goes with policy, and we're so lucky to have Lana to do a lot of the back-end work for us. And for us to be informed ourselves, on April 22nd for our Press Online and School Board Policies online users, there'll be a webinar, will be held at noon to discuss the recent upgrades to the Press Plus website. So if anybody's interested, and we have a really great policy committee that you might be interested in serving in the future, so that's a good one for you to attend if policy kind of piques your interest. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you, Anisha. We'll move on to NSSEO, and Liz, please.
Sure. This month from NSSEO, the big news is the NSSEO budget, which Stacy will present in a little bit. I know that Dr. Kay shared that ahead of time, and that is pretty much all, and we'll leave it to Stacy in a few minutes.
Great. Thank you, Liz. Speaking of, we're now moving to the business and finance section of the agenda. We have an action item for the 2026-2027 NSSEO budget. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President.
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve the NSSEO budget for 2026-2027.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. And Stacy, if you could take us through this agenda item.
So as the board is aware, we meet regularly throughout, starting back in December, with the team of either school business officials with the NSSEO finance person or as a large group, talking about different aspects of the NSSEO budget. We currently have around 41 students in the NSSEO program. Across the year, we budgeted for 43, and we currently have 38 that we project next year based on students that we know are returning. So as always, I would include an extra 4 in the budget because we tend to have move-ins or students that maybe come back and try to transition back to our schools. So while they may not attend a full year, we want to make sure that if we have those students that need to get placed or maybe move in and need to get placed, that we have the ability to do that. As always, if we don't have those students arrive throughout the year, then that money doesn't get spent out of the budget. One of the things that came out of this year's budget was in looking at the tuition rates for NSSEO. If you recall, a number of years ago, they made the move to separate Kirk as the high school district, or high school students, and Minor as the elementary students. And when we got around to talking about the tuition rates, the high school rate was actually going down and the elementary rate was continuing to grow pretty substantially. And one of the things that we brought into the conversation was those rates used to always match because we had kids at both schools, and that with the split, they weren't looking at all the right pieces. For example, the cost of the rent for Minor then really wasn't being paid at all by the high school district, by the high school tuition, because it was all put on Minor only, but yet we all make capital contributions to Kirk and Timber Ridge based on a formula, so there should be some portion of the Minor rent that also then gets put onto the high school district. So they did revisit that and make that, put that back into place where the tuitions are consistent. So the good news with that is it brought we still have an increase, but significantly less in terms of that as the high schools picking up their share of that impact. So overall, actually tuition-wise for NSSEO, it's pretty consistent with where we were at last year when I include the extra students. And then I always just like to let the board know that with our private placements, there's also about $800,000 in the budget for private placements. The total NSSEO budget I anticipate at this point is just over $3.6 million. So overall, it's actually a slight decrease in the tuition budget for next year. We're at $4.44 million this year, and I'm at this point anticipating $4.41 million in tuition for next year.
Okay, thank you, Stacy. Any questions from the board? All right.
If I could just add some additional context, I just want to say thank you to a couple people who help us stay connected to all that is happening at NSSEO, and we are grateful to the service that they provide our students. And I just want to say thanks to Liz for serving on the board with NSSEO. I want to say thanks to Stacy and Diane, who attend monthly meetings with the CSBO group and the Special Services group. So we are well informed into what is happening with NSSEO. So when Stacy talks about questions they have after we've seen a proposal for the budget, Stacy's group is asking questions and then changes are made to support some of the responses to those questions. So I just want to make sure you guys understand, while it's a big ask in order to be supporting this budget, we are extremely confident with what the results are currently presented in front of you. With the support of Diane, Stacy, Liz, and myself, and many others, but specifically those ones who dedicate monthly time to make sure that this matches what our needs are. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. K, for highlighting that. All right, if there's no additional questions or comments, Lana, if you could please call the vote.
Scapalato,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Buchberger,
Yes.
Cerniglia?
Yes.
Neerman?
Yes.
Tranter?
Yes.
Jogi?
Yes.
Thank you, Lana. The motion carries 7-0. This brings us to the next agenda item, which is also an action item for release of claim for the Dryden fire. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve the release of claim E2J25528 related to the March 2024 fire that occurred at Dryden School.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. And Stacy, if you could take the board through this item.
Yes, so as a board will recall, during the construction phase at Dryden School for the building addition, there was an overnight fire caused by a cart of construction materials being left too close to a heater that was being used during the day for construction, thus causing a fire and some significant smoke damage in the school. So when we do building additions to that extent, we buy what's called builder's risk insurance. So we filed a claim through that policy so that we could immediately get resolution to the issues at the school. And then ultimately we have the contract with Nicholas and Associates as construction manager that are responsible for overseeing the project. So while we were reimbursed rather quickly through our builder's risk insurance, they have since subrogated or tried to make or negotiated with Nicholas's insurance to kind of share the responsibility for the cost of the impact of the fire. So we have received just over $500,000, which is everything out of pocket we paid except for our deductible, and the subrogation with Nicholas is for $260,000, so just over half of the cost. Nicholas's insurance carrier is requiring that before they make payment to reimburse our insurance carrier, that we sign off on this release that we have in fact received full amount of our claims and will not be seeking further payment.
Thank you, Stacy. Any questions from the board? All right. Lana, if you could please call the vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Bugberger?
Yes.
Cerniglia?
Yes.
Neerman?
Yes.
Tranter?
Yes.
Jogi?
Yes.
Scapalato?
Yes. And thank you, Lana. The motion carries 7-0. And we will finish up this portion of the agenda with another action item for bus company contract approval. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Liz.
I move that the Board of Education approve a 5-year extension of the contract for bus transportation services with Cook Illinois First Student, Inc. as presented.
Thank you, Liz. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. And Stacy?
Oh, yes. So the board may or may not be aware. I hope you're aware. So we have been with Cook Illinois now for about 15 years. They have recently, they're actually a family-owned company and are at a point where there are no family owners wanting to continue to run the organization. So they have recently been bought out by First Student. There's not a lot of bus companies any longer in the area, especially with that merger. And we know some of our neighboring districts with one other bus company have really struggled this year and actually had some significant issues mid-year with price increases and needs to adjust their contracts. I did ask for a renewal quote for 2 to 3 years, assuming that next year probably not, well, certainly not wanting to go out for bid every year, and then also not wanting to put new administration in the business office having to deal with a bid in their first year. So I was looking at a 3-year renewal. We did negotiate down. They came in they came in higher than I'd hoped. We negotiated down, we pushed back. I still would have hoped a little lower, but they really said there's nothing else that they can do, and that if we have to go to RFP, then that's what we need to do. I will say, after talking to a couple districts that did decide to go out to RFP, they ended up with actually higher costs, and one of our high school district actually made that decision, and they ended up only, Cook got it anyway, or sorry, Cook First Student, whatever they're officially going by now, ended up getting it anyway, and it was more expensive than the original try to adjust. So at this point, though, I am recommending, I did get a 2-year proposal, but I am recommending a 5-year proposal because while the first 2 years are a little higher, the last couple years are at 3.5%, which I don't think 2 or 3 years from now going out to bid, you will get 3.5%. So I think in the long run that the 5-year agreement is the better deal, and that is what I'm recommending.
Thank you, Stacy, for walking us through that. Any questions from the board? All right, seeing none, Lana, if you could please call the vote.
Buchberger?
Yes.
Cerniglia?
Yes.
Neerman?
Yes.
Tranter?
Yes.
Jogi?
Yes.
Scapalato?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Thank you, Lana, and the motion carries 7-0. This brings us to the superintendent report. So, Dr. K, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am excited to share a couple updates, and then I have 2 presentations as well. I'm going to start with this week is School Volunteer Week. So on behalf of all of District 25, thank you, school board members, for volunteering your time. And I also wanted to recognize someone who's already spoke this evening, Aaron Lekomsky, for serving as the Arlington Heights Council of PTAs. And I loved what you shared this evening, talking about all of the activities and events that our parents run and support, and without them, we don't have all these activities for our kids. So we have, on behalf of the board, an orchid to share with you. So Aaron, congratulations for serving in that role, and thank you for volunteering all your time. Aaron, you may not know this, but today we sent orchids to all of the PTA presidents as well on behalf of the school district and the board. So you were the last one possibly to receive it. So thank you again for leading that group. We are extremely grateful. Tomorrow, as many of you know, and I'm sure you are going to be up late writing cards to your administrative professionals. Tomorrow is officially Administrative Professionals Day, so we are recognizing all of the work and effort that our real engine of the school districts put in every single day. So if you didn't know it, now you do. So we are excited to celebrate all of our front office staff at all of our schools, including our district office. So thank you to all of our administrative professionals for putting in the time and effort and for guiding many, many in the front office and throughout the school. So thank you for your efforts. Next, I have the Freedom of Information Act. We had 13 FOIA requests over this past month. Our administrative team ensured that all inquiries were addressed accurately and on schedule, meeting all legal requirements for timely disclosure. And the third topic, which is going to take some time, I'm really excited about this one, and I had a team volunteer to join me in this presentation. So at this moment, I'm going to recognize the Strategic Plan Refresh Update team. So if you guys wouldn't mind assuming any of the 5 seats at the community table, that would be great. Yeah, right there. We'll check the microphones to make sure they're working. Graham, you have totally outdone me on the dress tonight. You look on point, my friend. All right, so let's get comfortable. If you guys wouldn't mind checking to make sure the microphones are on and that they're working.
Can you hear? Nope.
Not yet.
Can you hear?
Not yet. We're getting there.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
We're getting there. Keep checking. All right, now we're good. So thank you for testing that, David. And just recognize it looks like you need to get really close to the microphone in order for everyone to hear you. So we've put together a presentation board from all of the meetings that went into the strategic plan refresh. What I feel really excited about is that tonight is just information. So it's an opportunity to hear and listen, and then next month we'll bring it back for an official vote for you guys to adopt the refresh plan. So tonight, all of us will be introducing different slides, and we have a very well-refined slideshow to share with everyone. And we're all going to take different parts, and it's going to go perfectly smoothly. When it's your turn to share your slide, take a moment to just introduce yourself, say what group you represent before you go into your information, if that's all right. And if you forget, that's okay. We'll come back to you. So the strategic plan refresh on slide 1, perfect. Good evening, board. Tonight is a meaningful moment for all of us. What we are sharing is not simply a document or a set of goals. It is the result of a year of thoughtful work, honest conversations, and a shared commitment to the future of District 25. Many of you in this room were part of this journey. You attended meetings, asked questions, offered perspective, and helped shape the direction of this plan. That partnership is what made this process strong and is what gives us confidence in the recommendation we are presenting tonight to vote on in May. Our goal this evening is to walk you through the journey we took together to reflect on where we have been, share what we learned, and describe how this plan will guide our work in the years ahead. Everything's working smoothly so far, Tim. As we begin this work, we grounded ourselves in our mission because mission matters. Our mission reminds us why we do this work every day. It centers us on students and keeps us focused on creating opportunities for every learner to grow, succeed, and thrive. Throughout this process, that mission served as our compass. When conversations became complex or decisions required careful thought, we came back to the simple question, is this best for students? That clarity helped guide the work, and it continues to guide us today. The 5 goal areas you see have guided District 25 for the past several years, and they have served us well. They helped us stay focused during times of change. They provided structure and direction when decisions needed to be made, and they created a shared understanding of what matters most in our work. As we refreshed this plan, we were intentional about building on that strong foundation rather than starting over. This was not about replacing the work that has been done. It was about strengthening it and preparing for what comes next. This evening, we want to tell the story of this work in a clear and thoughtful way. We will begin by walking through the timeline and process, how the work unfolded and how decisions were made along the way. We will then reflect the journey which helped us look back at the progress which was made under the previous strategic plan. From there, we will share the recommendations that emerged from this process, including the mission, vision, values, and the goals that will guide our work moving forward. And finally, we will describe how this plan will be brought to life through the implementation. Joining me this evening, right in front of you, you see our key members who participated in the strategic plan, who volunteered to be here tonight, who will be sharing different slides. Starting off with Andrea Lusso on slide 5.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Lusso. I'm the Director of Student Learning, and I represent the administrators and student learning within the strategic plan. And one of the strengths of this process was the intentional structure we used from the very beginning. We wanted to make sure that this work was thoughtful, inclusive, and grounded in both data and community voice. So we designed a process that allowed time for reflection, conversation, and collaboration. Rather than rushing to decisions, we moved step by step, listening carefully, learning from one another, and building shared understanding along the way. That deliberate pace helped ensure that the recommendations you see tonight are well considered and aligned with the needs of our students and community. This work unfolded in 3 main phases, and each phase served a different purpose. The first phase focused on establishing clarity and direction. The second phase focused on collaboration and analysis. And the third phase focused on listening to stakeholders and gathering feedback. Each phase built on the previous one, creating a process that was both structured and flexible. What made this work meaningful was not just the timeline, it was the people involved and the conversations that took place throughout the process.
During this initial phase, one of my priorities was to ensure that the board remained fully informed and actively engaged as the process took shape. Many of you were part of those early conversations. You asked thoughtful questions and helped shape the direction of the work. Together, we made an important decision to refresh the existing plan rather than create a brand new one. That decision reflected our belief that District 25 already had a strong foundation in place. Those early discussions established transparency, trust, and shared ownership in the process. They set the tone for the collaboration that followed.
As we moved into the next phase, the work became more collaborative and more focused. This is where the team began to spend time digging deeper, looking at data, reflecting on progress, and thinking carefully about the future of the district. These conversations were thoughtful and sometimes challenging, but they were always grounded in a shared commitment to doing what is best for students. During this phase, the team participated in a series of structured sessions that helped move the work from reflection to action. We began by reviewing past progress through the journey, which helped us understand where we have been. We then examined data to better understand our current reality, our strengths, our challenges, and our opportunities. From there, we worked together to imagine the future we want for District 25 and to define the steps needed to get there. By the end of this phase, the team had reached consensus on recommendations and began focusing on how this plan would live in our daily work.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Suchi Joshi Soni. I'm a parent of two beautiful kids, if I do say so myself. I have a second grader and a fifth grader in the district, which means we've been in the district for 6 years now. In those 6 years, I've had the pleasure of serving as our PTA vice president of Windsor, and I also serve alongside this year for Arlington Heights Council PTA's president-elect. And this year, I also started guest teaching in the district. So I've gotten a chance to get to know our school district, our administration, our staff, our community in many different ways. As a parent on the strategic plan refresh team, one of the things that impressed me most about the process was the emphasis on listening. Families, students, and staff were given real opportunities to share their thoughts and experiences. It was clear that this was not just about creating a plan, it was about understanding the people who make up our school community. That commitment to listening helped ensure that this plan reflects the voices of the families and students it serves. Throughout the process, community members, parents, staff, and students were invited to share their feedback on several important topics, including the portrait of a learner, the future vision of the district, and the priorities that matter most to our community. As a parent, I appreciated how intentional this outreach was. It demonstrated respect for our community's perspective and reinforced the idea that this plan belongs to all of us. What stood out to me the most was the level of participation. Thousands of responses were collected from students, families, and staff. That level of engagement speaks to the strength of this community and the shared commitment we all have to the future of our schools. It also gave the team confidence that the direction of this plan reflects the priorities of the people we serve.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. I'm David Nienhauser. I am also a voice of the parent community. I have 3 children, 2 at Olive and 1 at Thomas, and we were thrilled to get to be participants in this process. For the journey, one of the most meaningful parts of this process for us all was the opportunity to pause and reflect before we moved forward. As parents, we often focus on what comes next, the next grade, the next school year, and the next opportunity for our children. But this process reminded us that it is just as important to look back and recognize how far we have come. The journey helped us do exactly that. It told the story of the work that has taken place over the past several years, including progress that has been made, the challenges that have been addressed, and the systems that have been strengthened. It gave us a better perspective and helped us visualize the robust foundation that already exists in District 25. As we reviewed the journey, what stood out to me most was the level of commitment and consistency that has defined the district's work. This was not a collection of isolated efforts. It was a cohesive story of sustained focus and teamwork. For those of us serving on the Strategic Plan Refresh team, this reflection created confidence. It reminded us that District 25 has a strong track record of setting goals, working together, and delivering results for the students. That confidence allowed us to approach the next phase of planning with optimism and purpose. Another important takeaway from this review was the opportunity to celebrate progress. We could clearly see evidence of growth in student learning, in the improvements to school climate, and in stronger systems across the district. At the same time, we recognized that improvement is an ongoing goal, not just the finish line. Education is always evolving, and our responsibility is to continue learning and adapting. The mindset of acknowledging and celebrating success while remaining focused on growth became a guiding principle for the remainder of our work.
As we move from reflection into planning, data played an essential role in shaping our direction. We examined student achievement data, climate data, and feedback from families and staff. We asked ourselves difficult questions, and we looked honestly at areas where we are doing well and areas where we can improve. This process was not about judgment, it was about understanding. By grounding our conversations in evidence, we were able to make thoughtful decisions that are both realistic and forward-looking.
Ultimately, reviewing the journey helped us transition from reflection to action. It allowed us to honor the work that was already done while also preparing for the next chapter. Many of you on the board were part of this earlier work, and your leadership helped create the foundation we are building on today. This continuity from one strategic plan to the next is a strength of District 25, and it reflects the commitment to steady, thoughtful progress. After months of collaboration, reflection, and community engagement, the Strategic Plan Refresh team reached consensus on a set of recommendations that we are proud to share with you tonight. These recommendations are not the result of a single meeting or a single perspective. They represent the collective voice of students, staff, families, administrators, and board members who worked together throughout this process. What you will see in the next few slides is the direction that emerged from that collaboration, a direction that reflects both continuity and growth.
Good evening. My name is Alinka Wallace. I am also a parent. I have two daughters in District 25, a third grader and a first grader, and an upcoming kindergartner. So all girls. It's been an adventure. And it's been really a pleasure serving and having this opportunity. As a parent, our district motto resonates deeply with me. Together today to transform tomorrow is more than a statement. It reflects the partnership that exists between families, educators, and the Board of Education. Our mission reinforces that partnership by focusing on creating a caring and inclusive community where every learner is supported and challenged. It reminds us that education is not only about academic achievement, but also about helping children develop confidence, resilience, and a sense of belonging. When we discussed the vision for District 25, we talked about the kind of experience we want our children to have each day when they walk into school. We want them to feel curious. We want them to feel valued, and we want them to feel confident in their ability to learn and grow. This vision reflects those hopes. It describes a future where learning is meaningful, relationships are strong, and every student is prepared to succeed in a changing world.
I'm Graham. I'm a student at Greenbrier, and I'm in 4th grade. As a student, I was excited to help shape the core values because they reflect what matters to students every day. These values include integrity, belonging, excellence, innovation, and empowerment. What makes them special is that they are written in ways students can understand and live. For example, integrity means telling the truth and doing the right thing. Belonging means including others and helping everyone feel welcome. These values are not just words. They describe how we want our schools to feel and how we want students to grow. As a student, these values feel very real to me because they show up in our daily experiences at school. They are part of what makes our schools feel like a community.
Well done, Graham. From this work emerged 5 strategic goals that will guide District 25 moving forward. These goals provide a balanced framework for our work. They reflect the priorities we heard from our community and the needs we see in our schools. They also align with the responsibilities we share as educators, families, and board members to support students, strengthen systems, and ensure the long-term success of the district. Together, these goals create a clear path forward.
The first goal focuses on what sits at the heart of our work, student learning. Throughout this process, we heard a consistent message from families, staff, and students. We want learning to be meaningful, engaging, and responsive to the needs of every learner. This goal reflects that message. It is about maintaining strong curriculum and instruction while also recognizing that students learn in different ways and at different paces. It is about providing both challenge and support so that every student has the opportunity to grow. As educators, we know that learning is not a one-size-fits-all experience. Our responsibility is to create systems that meet students where they are and help them move forward with confidence.
As a parent, this goal speaks directly to the daily experiences our children have in school. We all want our children to feel safe, respected, and connected. We want them to know that they belong not just academically, but socially and emotionally as well. This goal focuses on building school communities where relationships are strong, expectations are clear, and support is available when students need it. When students feel valued and supported, they are more engaged in learning, more willing to take risks, and more confident in themselves.
High-quality staff. Strong schools depend on strong educators. As parents, we clearly see the impact that teachers and staff have on our children every day. Their dedication, expertise, and care make a lasting difference in our students' lives. The goal of high-quality staff recognizes that supporting staff is essential to supporting students. It focuses on recruiting talented educators, providing opportunities for professional growth, and creating a workplace culture where people feel valued and supported. When our educators thrive, our students thrive.
Our goal around family and community partnerships highlights something that many of us have experienced firsthand, the power of partnership. Education works best when families and schools work together. When communication is clear and relationships are strong, students benefit. This goal focuses on strengthening trust, improving communication, and creating more opportunities for families and community members to stay connected to their schools. As parents, we want to feel informed, involved, and confident that our voices are heard. This goal helps ensure that partnership remains a priority.
The 5th goal reflects one of our most important responsibilities as a district, being thoughtful stewards of the resources entrusted to us. This includes financial resources, facilities, technology, and the systems that support all of our work. Our goal is to make decisions that are responsible today while also protecting the long-term stability of the district. That balance is essential to maintaining trust and ensuring that we can continue to provide strong opportunities for students in the years ahead.
The Portrait of a Learner is a new part of this strategic plan. It is one of the most exciting parts of this plan because it focuses on who we are becoming as students. It describes the skills and habits we need to succeed not just in school, but in life. It reminds us that learning is about more than grades. It's about thinking, working with others, solving problems, and growing as individuals. As a student, I see this as a guide for what success looks like and how we can prepare for the future. These competencies describe the skills students develop throughout their time in District 25. They include thinking skills, communication, teamwork, responsibility, and adaptability. These are the skills we use every day in class, on teams, in our communities. They help us become confident learners who are ready to face challenges and take on new opportunities.
With this strategic plan defined, the next step is bringing it to life. Implementation is where planning turns into action. This phase is about making sure the plan is not just something we talk about, but something we live every day in classrooms and meetings, and then in the decisions we make across the district. Our rollout will focus on 4 key areas: branding, communication, placement, and accountability. These elements help ensure that the plan is visible, understood, and connected to our daily work. They also help us stay focused on progress and continuous improvement.
Branding may sound like a small detail, but it plays an important role in helping people connect to the plan. A clear visual identity makes the plan recognizable and helps reinforce our shared priorities. It creates consistency across schools and communications and helps everyone see how their work connects to the larger vision. This slide shows examples of how branding was used in the previous strategic plan. Those visuals helped create clarity and consistency, and they made it easier for staff and families to understand the district's priorities. We will build on that approach as we launch the refreshed plan.
Communication will be essential as we move forward. We want all impacted parties, including staff, families, students, and community members, to understand the purpose of the plan and how it connects to their work. Clear communication helps build trust and ensures that everyone is moving in the same direction.
Placement is about visibility. When the plan is visible in schools, meetings, and communications, it becomes part of our daily conversations and decisions. It reminds us of our shared goals and keeps our focus on what matters most. Accountability ensures that this plan leads to meaningful results. Each goal will have an administrator serve as the goal champion, and we will establish clear measures of progress, monitor outcomes, and provide regular updates to the board and the community. This transparency will help build confidence and reinforces our commitment to continuous improvement.
Members of the board, this strategic plan represents the collective voice of our community. It reflects our values, our priorities, our commitment to continuous improvement. Most importantly, it reflects our shared belief in the potential of every student. We are grateful for the opportunity to present this work and look forward to your feedback and guidance as we move forward.
As we embark on our next
The timing was almost perfect. We are grateful for the opportunity to present this work and look forward to your feedback and guidance as we move forward together. Cue video.
As we embark on our next strategic plan, let's remember who we are. Just 5 years ago, we were teaching and learning through screens, and then masks, and then we were full go. But born out of that was our plan from 2021 to 2025. Of course, our journey never ends, and as that one sunsets, a new one begins. A year of work reflecting together, gathering feedback together, brainstorming, predicting, analyzing together. And here we are with a mission and vision that will carry us forward. We will encounter unknowns, hurdles, and growth, but as always, we will do it together. After all, we are together today to transform tomorrow.
So as we close, I want to take a moment to thank each one of you. Many of you contributed directly to this process through the meetings, discussions, and thoughtful feedback. Your participation helped shape the direction of this plan. We are proud of the work, and we are grateful for the partnership that made it possible. A couple more final thanks. One to the volunteer members of the Refresh group who supported the sharing of the presentation this evening. So thank you, team. I sincerely appreciate it. And another unique part that took place after we started the process was when so many board members wanted to join and participate, we had to pivot So I want to say thank you to Lana O'Brien for turning 3 of these into open sessions, which worked out really well, so that all board members who had an interest and availability could participate in person in these conversations, which was no small feat to accomplish and get off the ground. So thank you, Lana, for making sure that was possible. And I can't believe I've made it this far in the presentation without thanking our 2 facilitators, Perry and Brian, who carried us from the beginning to the end. And Perry will continue supporting us, the Gold Champions, in making sure that the implementation and bringing it back to the board for updates happens and takes place. So thank you to Brian and Perry for facilitating this process as well. Without further ado, are there any questions for myself or my volunteer team? Thank you, board.
I don't have any questions, but I do have comments. I want to thank your volunteer team today of experts here, the parents, our administrator, our student. Thank you so much for being here. You explained it so well. You know, many of us were there during that strategic planning process, but to see it being reflected to us, you know, putting a mirror to our face of what our board, what the staff, what the parents and the whole community at large accomplished in the last couple of months was really nice to hear. You summarized it really well for us, and it truly is a proud moment. Having been part of the strategic part, you know, the strategic plan that we're kind of sunsetting and refreshing and seeing it now, we should really be proud of what we've accomplished and what we're going to go towards and the vision forward. So thank you so much for this great presentation. It was really, really well done. So you should give yourselves ice cream tonight, okay?
I also don't have a question, but a comment. Thank you for being here tonight and for participating, and for everyone that participated in the strategic refresh process. It was a long process, but having been part of it myself, and first of all, those conversations that we had with our community members and our parents were so rich and thoughtful and really productive, and I can see them reflected in this document really well. So I think we all should be really proud of our work, and I think it's a really helpful document. And so just thank you to everyone.
I feel remiss for not sharing that 2 teachers in our refresh committee did ask if they could join, and I said, why don't you save yourselves the evening and stay home, and they took the opportunity to not join. I said we had plenty of volunteers who would help participate and share. So I just didn't want to make it look like we chose no teachers. I gave them the opportunity to stay home. So next month, we'll bring it back for even more questions, and then we will ask the board to take a vote on the refresh plan itself. The volunteers, you don't need to come back, but you, of course, are welcome to. We will just open it up for questions at that time, and if there are none, we will then ask for the vote. So thank you for your time this evening, and thank you, volunteers. I sincerely appreciate it. Graham, way to go. Feel free to stay, but you do not need to. We have one more topic for this evening, and that is student voice. It's been a recurring topic, and I believe we've made progress after each one talking about what student voice could look like here in District 25 at the board table. So I have a memo that I want to pass to my left and right so you guys have a chance to visually see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. When you have this in your hands, I'd like to draw your attention all the way back to the last page visually. Oh, I didn't send one extra. My bad. Does everyone have one? Good. If you go to the last page, there's a chart, and I think the chart will visually show when I'm recommending we start and what I'm recommending we start. So this is the proposed schedule, And ultimately, what I'm recommending is that we have a Superintendent Student Advisory Council, the SSAC. It would be made up of elementary students, as we talked about, and middle school students. Elementary would be 2 representatives from 5th grade from every school. So regardless of the size of school, they would get the same representation. And then the middle school would have 2 per grade per South and Thomas. So we'd have 2-6, 2-7, 2-8 from South, 2-6, 2-7, 2-8 from Thomas. So what I would recommend, if you look at September 29th of 2026, that would be the first time we would invite what I would consider the student board ambassadors to join us at this table. Between now and then, we can talk about where they would sit, if it would be a presentation from the community table, or if we have 2 seats or more seats next to where Liz is currently seated. And you can see on September 29th, I would be potentially identifying South 6th grade, the representatives, which would be 2 kids, and Dryden 5th grade, which would be 2 students. So we'd get an update from those 2, and then each board meeting following that is a different ambassadors from different grades and different schools. So we'd have 2 different schools representing, always one of the middle schools, and then a different elementary. By the end of the year next year, if we look at all the board meetings that got approved tonight, starting on March 16th is when we would start to have multiple rounds of them coming back and revisiting. This allows us to have many students experience what it's like to sit here at the board table, present at the board table, give updates. But it is different than what you would consider a student board member who is sitting on all of the meetings the entire year. So this represents collectively what we've talked about. We can still make changes. My recommendation in this memo would be we consider doing this for 1 year, see how it goes, and we can always evolve and grow from there. But visually, I felt like this gave you the best chance to see what it might look like. Notice on August 4th, it's shaded all the way across. That would be the potentially first SSCAC meeting, the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, where everyone would come together, we'd introduce one another, and we'd talk through almost like an orientation. What is it like to be an ambassador? What is it like to be a board member? So they understand what role they're playing, getting voice from their school. So we need to create avenues for them to collect that from their school so that when they come to this table, they know what to bring to share. It's not just themselves, it's not just their friend group, it's representing their entire school. So the August 4th would just be like an orientation where I would invite at least 2 board members to join. I wouldn't invite 3 because you know why that would be. We'd be adding more board meetings. So I would invite 2, and that can rotate over time as well. But this is, again, visually how I think we're representing how we can begin to add student voice here on a regular, consistent basis outside of the recognitions that we're already currently doing or involving them in presentations like Graham was here tonight. So questions or thoughts, but I obviously just gave this to you. So I'm open to more dialogue, but I'll give you a chance between now and the next meeting if you want to also, we can bring this back for more questions.
So Dr. K, seeing that August 4th, it would be the first meeting, so then you're considering selecting that group this spring, is what you're...
That is correct. Okay. Yeah, so we would look at the current 4th graders throughout the elementary schools. We would look at current 5th grade representing the middle school at 6th, future 6th. And then we could talk to the current 6th and 7th grade to identify 2 at South, 2 at Thomas, at both 6th and 7th grade currently. Because the number I feel like is small, I feel like this is possible to identify who they would be between now and the end of the year. And since we have access to a lot of communication tools, we can also extend beyond into the summer, identifying who they might be. But first would be throwing out interest and finding out which students would be interested in this type of responsibility and be able to make the commitment of all of these meetings. So I feel like we still have May and June to continue pondering if this is an idea we want to full throttle go forward on.
Mr. President? Dr. Kay, thank you so much for thinking outside the box and taking our feedback and, processing that and coming up with kind of a unique plan that works for our district. I love the ideas that you put forth. Of course, we're going to let it marinate and read a little bit more about what you've put forward. But what you've shared today, that is unique. And I love the Superintendent Student Advisory Council idea. And I love that you have so many students experiencing that. And that also, in a sense, because we're a K-8 district, as far as sustainability and kind of maintaining interest, but maximizing exposure for this level, I feel like I love that idea initially. So thank you for all the work that you've done to kind of come up with it with our input. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think the benefit is the conversations we've had here and just shaping it over time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a quick question, because I know you had mentioned, Dr. Kay, that we can discuss again next month, but with the end of the school year coming so very quickly, as it always does, do we need a decision today as far as going forward with finding out what students are interested and how we proceed from there? I mean, by the time we have our May meeting,
I believe
they'll just have 2 weeks of school left.
Correct, which is why I mentioned the benefit of technology and doing an interest survey. We can move outside of the school year and still collect interest, and I believe best would be to interview students and outside of the school day might be the benefits. So starting with an interest survey to see, do we even have an interest among current fourth graders at the elementary schools? I anticipate we will. But I don't need the school year to be in session in order to identify who these students are. We have access to email the parents to inquire with them if their child may be interested. Similar to how we captured students for the strategic refresh plan, I didn't go directly to the students, I went to their parents to ask, might your child be interested? If so, have them reach out and we'll tell them what it is. So I would see us doing the same thing. It can happen in May, it can happen at the end of May, it can happen in June. And obviously this is still just a plan and could modify as well. But I feel like it's possible even though the school year, yes, is coming to an end. I'm anticipating this will be some kids' jam, kind of like Battle of the Books is some, wrestling is some, volleyball is some. I think this will be a jam for some kids.
And do you anticipate, because I think it might be a really fun idea for them, even if it's not, say, the other school's turn to present, if it's South 6th grade and Dryden 5th grade, could the other members of the committee from other schools come to the school board meeting and kind of cheer on their peers?
They certainly could. I wouldn't hold them back from that. Since we also stream it live, they could cheer them on from anywhere. But yeah, I think if I was a student who was presenting at the next board meeting, I might come to the one before just to see the environment, see how it goes, see what kind of questions the board asks, if any. So I would encourage that as part of my orientation. South 6th and Dryden 5th, if they're comfortable and available to go, we'll lock them into that date, again, as a proposal. And then the future ones, come and join or watch the recording that we have, just so you can get a flavor for what that will look like.
Yeah, I think it'd also be really helpful if Adam could highlight that little link.
Yeah.
Because then classroom teachers could share it. It's just a very easy way for everyone to access it and maybe even garner some interest for the future.
I agree completely, and I think I forget what it's called, where the board buzz, I feel like it is linked so nicely, each category, so we would be able to highlight that section for the different students and the teachers to highlight in the classroom.
I wonder, Liz, what you talk about, like on social media, because sometimes in the summer, maybe we're maybe some folks are away from Board Buzz and maybe they're still on Instagram.
Yeah, understood. But we're making progress on this. It's good. So something I want you to think about is, let's imagine the plan goes forward as is. September 29th, we have 2 students from South. We have 2 students from Dryden. Could you envision that the 4 are seated at our table and they stay the duration of the meeting? Or are they seated at the community table and they're sharing during their portion of the meeting? So that is something I want you to think about. Do we have the representatives staying for the whole meeting at our table? Or are they given a time when we give other community partners a chance to speak? So I don't need answers now, but I just want you to think about what would that look like. Again, no need to tell me now. But I think that's an important piece to finalize this. Now we got them here, we know who's here, we know what they represent, but we don't know, are they staying the whole meeting or are they giving an update? So food for thought as we come back to this. So thank you, that was my final topic for the evening.
Thank you. Just a quick comment, Mr. President. A quick comment. I appreciate you putting this plan together, and I think it's a good way to, like you said, like dip our toes and like pilot the program. And it seems like it's really manageable amount of commitment for students that are interested. So that might be something to think about in terms of having them stay the whole meeting versus just a short time. It might make it more manageable if they were just here for their required time.
Good point. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. K. We're at the second community input section of the agenda, and I don't believe we have any blue slips. Okay. Thank you. So we're now at the future agenda items section of the meeting. Are there any new topics that have been previously discussed with Dr. K for the board to consider tonight? All right. And seeing none, the board needs to return to closed session to continue working on the same topics announced earlier. The board cannot take any action during closed session, and we will not be taking any action when we return to open session afterwards. Can I have a motion to return to closed session for the reasons previously noted?
So moved.
Thank you, Liz. And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. And Lana, could you please call the roll?
Cerniglia?
Yes.
Neerman? Tranter? Jogi?
Yes.
Scapalato?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Buchberger?
Yes.
Thank you, Lana. The motion carries 7-0. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.